All right, so we're going to talk about what Florida quarterbacks Graham Mertz and DJ Lagway need to do against UCF's defense to have success. And as of recording the video, I haven't seen anything announced. It's early in the week, but I haven't seen anything announced as far as how Napier plans to play the quarterbacks. I know against Mississippi State it was two series for Mertz, and then one series for Lagway for the first 9 series. So again, no idea how they plan to do that or if they're going to stick with Mertz the whole way. But we're making the video with the assumption they're going to play both guys, with Mertz getting the majority of the snaps. If you're a Florida fan and you have more intel or information, please let us know in the comments below. But with that said, we're going to talk about what the keys are. There's 3 main keys, at least from my point of view, of how Mertz and Lagway have success against UCF. And before we talk about the quarterbacks, let's talk about UCF's defense. And we are going to look at some film here in a few minutes that kind of demonstrate what we're talking about, UCF's defense, and then the plays that we want to see from the Florida quarterbacks. So UCF's defense. They've played well versus lower level teams against New Hampshire and against Sam Houston State. Whenever they played against Colorado, they gave up 48 points. Whenever they played against TCU, they gave up 34 points. They gave up over 400 yards passing to TCU's quarterback, Josh Hoover. They gave up 290 yards passing to Shador last week and 3 touchdowns through the air. So I really don't know their identity. Like watching the defense on film, don't really know what to expect. They definitely seem to be a lot better versus the run than versus the pass. They're able to shut down TCU's running attack. Colorado had some nice plays on the ground against them, but for them, they didn't allow anything huge per se. But Colorado was able to show, I think, a little bit more than you thought they were on the ground. But they definitely seem to be better against the run in the pass right now, right? So again, like we talked about, 48 points to Colorado. I think one of those was there a pick 6, I believe, or a punt return? There was some big defensive touchdown, 34 to TCU. So let's talk about the pressures. Let's talk about what they're going to try to potentially do against Florida's defense. And of course, they're going to try to confuse the quarterbacks, especially when Lagway's in there, the young freshman. They're going to try to confuse the quarterbacks. Against Colorado, they had 19 pressures and 2 sacks. So they got a fair amount of pressure on Colorado. But at the same time, you got to remember Shador holds on to the ball probably longer than any of the quarterbacks. It's just part of his style. Its plays develop. They did blitz on 37% of his dropbacks. Against TCU, they only had 12 pressures and had 0 sacks. That's why it's like, okay, are they really getting true pressure, or do they only get pressure on Colorado because Shador held on to the ball? And that's kind of what I think so far. They did blitz on 28% of the passing downs against TCU. So if you're watching how these quarterbacks had success against UCF, it was a few different ways, but Shador off play action was whenever they're able to have some big success. He only had 5 completions off play action, but 2 of his 3 touchdowns were off play action, and he had over 12 yards per attempt. I think that could be a good way to attack UCF's defense, especially with what Mertz is good at and what he is comfortable in. That's using play action. Hoover had more success on straight drop backs than play action, the quarterback for TCU, right? So UCS defense, we're all going to watch some film, but I don't really have a good grasp on what their identity is or what they're going to try to do to Florida. So against the better competition, they haven't had much success on defense. So if you're Florida, you hope that trek keeps going, right? So with that said, let's talk about Florida's quarterbacks and the keys for them to have success. I think key number 1, utilize play action. I want to use play action a bit more, assuming you get the run game going. But I think that can, 1, get defenders out of position. But like we're going to look at here in a second, Shador had a lot of success off play action. Graham Mertz, a lot of his success has been off play action, and they haven't done it as much as I'd want to see. Only 29% of Mertz's dropbacks have been off play action, but he does it well. And we're going to look at Mertz against A&M, against Mississippi State, and look at these clips of him having success off play action. Key number 2, I think there could be some opportunities for some deep completions, for some deep shots, right? If you looked at against TCU and especially Shador had 4 completions where the ball was thrown 20 yards or more in the air for a completion. So I think there could be an opportunity to hit some explosive plays through the passing game. Mertz only has 3 of those type of throws the entire year, and that's not really his game. Lagway has 5 of those type of throws, but a lot were against Stanford, so maybe use Lagway with the deep balls. I don't know. But I think you can marry key 1 and key 2. I think you can have some deep plays off of play action. But regardless, I think there could be some opportunities for some explosive plays. Then key number 3, I want to utilize the legs. It doesn't mean you have to run the quarterback, but I want to do some bootlegs, get them outside the pocket, some rollouts, not even to protect them from pressure per se. I guess it depends if you think the O-line is going to be able to block UCF's D-line and backers. But I think just to get defenders out of position, just to cause some confusion in the secondary, to set up some plays there. And if they're able to get pressure on you, then that's a great way to set up some protection for your offensive line, right? So with that said, main keys for the Florida quarterbacks against UCF's defense, I think play action can be a utilized type of throw or type of scheme. I think some deep shots, there could be some explosive plays there against UCF secondary. And then utilize your legs to get outside the pocket to try to have another element to create confusion in UCF's secondary. Excuse me. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at some film. We're going to look at UCF's defense and what they've allowed so far, and then look at a few clips of Florida's quarterbacks and what could potentially be there. And we put out SEC quarterback content on a regular basis. So if you like that type of stuff, please consider subscribing. With that said, let's go ahead and look at the film. So we're just going to watch 3 clips here. We're just going to watch 1 clip of UCF's defense, then 2 clips of Graham Mertz. Like we talked about UCF's defense, I'm not really sure what to expect. I'm not really sure what their identity is, but I do think you can have some success if you're Florida off of play action, especially with Mertz showing that he's comfortable off play action, and Lagway as well when he's had his opportunities off play action. So we're going to watch this. This is Shedeur Sanders' first touchdown against UCF from this previous weekend. Again, not sure if UCF going to blitz or not, but versus Florida, but they do bring the safety here that we see. So they are blitzing here, and we're going to see the play action does a good enough job keeping the backers up here. So right now you got 1, 2, 3. Let's see, we got So right now with that other play action, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players within 4 yards on line of scrimmage, and this guy's supposed to be back in here, and this is exactly where the throw goes to. So the throw is replacing where the defender probably should have been. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not in the defensive meetings, but just from this play, it looks like he's trying to get back and recover. The play action gets the defender out of position. Shedeur was able to make a nice throw. Also helps you have Travis Hunter running routes, right? So again, I'm just showing 1 defensive play, and there's nice defensive plays from UCF too that I could have showed, but just for the sake of the video, just showing an example of Colorado having success. All right, so let's watch 2 clips of Mertz and play action, something he's comfortable with. Again, I think they can take some deep shots, and they can take some deep shots off play action. So here's Mertz against A&M. This was, let's see, I'll move it back. This was the drive that they scored, opening drive in the second half that they scored. We got play action. Notice how many defenders out of position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe not out of position, but all within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. So I think you can have that success against UCF. Mertz is already comfortable with it, has a good ball here, and takes a shot as well. Let's see, my face is going to get in the way. Probably. But ends up being a good ball from Mertz. This next play is going to be touchdown, and it's off play action. Again, notice the defenders getting out of position. If you're Florida and you're attacking UCF, you're hoping that this is the same example. This happens to UCF as well. So we got the play action. Receiver is able to kind of sneak out here, but look how many guys are inside 4 yards line of scrimmage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 guys, and then only 1 guy is on the side they actually throw the ball to, and he's running with the receiver. So play action is able to get defenders out of position, so hopefully you're able to do that against UCF. And the fact that Mertz has been good at it. Like we talked about, we read his stats off from play action. I would like to see a little bit more play action. But for Florida, again, regardless if it's Lagway getting more snaps or Mertz, again, it hasn't been announced yet. I would think it's Mertz. Maybe I would assume it's some type of two quarterback system, but we'll see when the game rolls around. But Florida fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think Florida needs to do to have success, specifically Mertz and Lagway against UCF's defense, right? I think obviously take care of the ball, use your legs to slow down the pass rush if you don't think you can block UCF, and then utilize play action. I do think there's going to be some explosive shots from play action as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, we put out a lot of SEC quarterback content. So if you like that type of niche content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. It helps us grow. Follow us along. We'll see you next time. Peace.